Rock and roll, the devil's music, El Diablo. Rock and roll is ruled or most influenced by Capricorn. Capricorn is the movable or cardinal earth sign in the zodiac. We can see in the name alone a direct reference to Capricorn. Rock and roll alludes to moving earth. That is entirely Capricornian in nature. Even the sound of rock music is often described as heavy, heavier than traditional, more classical music. Let's take a look at the birth chart of the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Elvis has a Capricorn stellium. A stellium is when there are 3 or more planets in the same sign in a given chart. Elvis has the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Capricorn. Elvis also has the planet Jupiter in Scorpio, and Jupiter is applying a sextile aspect to both the Sun and Mercury. And Elvis was known for being extremely, at least in those days, sexual in his performances. He moved his hips like people had not seen before on television, and it made the girls go crazy. And this is the beginnings of what led to rock and roll being known as outcast or even the devil's music. And that brings us to the tarot card, which symbolizes Capricorn. The tarot card associated with Capricorn is the devil. Here's some information on the devil tarot card from the Rider-Waite key to the tarot. The horned goat of Mendes, with wings like those of a bat, is standing on an altar. At the pit of the stomach, there is the sign of Mercury. The right hand is upraised and extended, being the reverse of that benediction, which is given by the Hierophant in the 5th card. Fun fact, Taurus is associated with the Hierophant card, and the moon exalts in Taurus, and the moon is in detriment in Capricorn. So we can see just in that astrological connection, there is a tension of sorts between the depictions of these two cards. In the left hand, there is a great flaming torch inverted toward the earth. A reversed pentagram is on the forehead. There is a ring in front of the altar from which 2 chains are carried to the necks of 2 figures, male and female. These are analogous with those of the 6th card, the lovers, as if Adam and Eve after the fall. Hereof is the chain and fatality of the material life. And we can see here the association with chains and death, which Saturn rules both of those things. The figures are tailed to signify the animal nature, but there is human intelligence in the faces, and he who is exalted above them is not to be their master forever. Even now he is also a bondsman, sustained by the evil that is in him, and blind to the liberty of service. With more than his usual derision for the arts which he pretended to respect and interpret as a master therein. So there is an association with the devil in Capricorn, and rock and roll was known as the devil's music and spawned the Satanic Panic of the 1980s. So rock and roll music provoked the Satanic Panic, where people believed that satanic ritual abuse was occurring all over the world, particularly in North America in the 1980s specifically. Now, while that probably was true, I don't think rock and roll music was particularly what was behind it. Let's take a look at another birth chart of a rock and roll legend, this time Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. Jimmy Page has a conjunction between the Sun and Mercury in Capricorn. His Sun and Mercury are on the exact same degree, so those 2 planets are in Capricorn, and his Saturn is in Gemini, sextiling Jupiter in Leo. All of that points to a showmanship that will express itself in a very Capricornian nature. Jimmy Page was known for playing his guitar far lower than most people, often playing it as low as the kneecaps, which Capricorn rules. Capricorn rules the knee caps. Another quintessential rock and roll band is the Rolling Stones. And we see there more direct reference to Capricorn. Rolling stone, moving earth, entirely Capricornian in nature. And then we have Rolling Stone magazine, known for its iconic covers, interviews, and just being in the zeitgeist of the public. No matter what kind of music you were into, Rolling Stone magazine was extremely influential from 1962 until about the early 2000s, I would say, is when Rolling Stone really started falling off and becoming less influential around the rise of the internet becoming ubiquitous. Finally, one of the most popular and common subgenres of rock and roll is heavy metal. The planet Saturn rules Capricorn, and alchemically, Saturn is associated with the metal of lead, the heaviest and most dense of the 7 alchemical metals. And heavy metal music truly does sound like earth in motion, grinding, heavy sounds, slow lumbered movement. All of these are associated with Capricorn and Saturn. So as you can see, astrology cannot help but manifest itself. God created the heavens, and as above, so below. That is a hermetic principle that is in the Lord's Prayer, on earth as it is in heaven, and the truth of the heavens cannot be hid. Whether you're aware of it or not, we are all influenced by the stars above. Until next time, God bless.